Welcome back to Youthology on AUK Radio. This is your host Taya with our co-host
Manvi.
and our second guest of today's show,
Natasha.
So firstly, Natasha, could we ask you to introduce yourselves to our listeners?
Well, I'm Natasha and I'm from a company called Ubuntu Volunteers, and it's a volunteering company where we go into South Africa and volunteer in underprivileged communities.
Yeah, could you tell us a bit more about yourself personally? What are your kind of hobbies? What do you enjoy? What are you passionate about?
Well, at the moment, I'm passionate about this. Just really getting the word out there and finding more people to join the volunteering experience, as well as I really enjoy doing new things with my family, just going out there, experiencing life. You only have one life to live, so really just going out and experiencing all sorts of things that you can in the world and around, even in your community, just like new things and that you can experience together as a family.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of lifestyle helps you not get bored, because if it's repetitive, same monotonous thing, then it gets quite boring. And as I said, when you've got so many new things to try out, you'll never get bored. You'll always have something new for the next day. And
yeah, exactly. Something to look forward to and things. And it doesn't even have to always cost money. I mean, like we were discussing now with being in a budget and things like that. If you go out and even do things that are for free, going to community walks and stuff like that, it can also be loads of fun and you can have a great time doing that. So it's even just experiencing all of that.
I think the most important factor about it is that you discover new things about yourself.
Yeah.
And you learn things on the way, maybe whether that's with your family, you build a stronger relationship through those experiences.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing, and that's what caters a very strong relationship.
Working with your community that's in your home first, and then your community that's out of your home.
Yeah, and I think it's always great to try out new things, because there's so many different things, opportunities available. So for some people, it might be with traveling and volunteering. It might just be art, or it might be writing poetry. It could be gardening. There's so many different things to try out. So I feel like people should always just have an open mind, not stay narrow mind and stick to the same things, because although something might seem like they wouldn't like it, once you try it and once you've had that go at it, you might find that you absolutely love it.
Yeah, just like your poetry.
Okay. If you could describe yourself in 3 words, what words would you choose?
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, this one always gets people stumped.
Because you see, people don't like talking about nice things about themselves. We all can pick out the negative things. So I think I try and always come across as bubbly and lively and things like that. So I think that would be one of my things that are good about me, and helpful, and always willing to do anything for anybody else. So no matter if you come to me with a problem, whatever, I'll try and help you out as much as you can. Yeah, so I think those 3 things.
Yeah, I think those are great things to translate to day-to-day life as well, because there's always going to be times where other people need help, and a lot of time some people are a bit afraid to reach out. So having someone like you there to kind of be there and be that support, especially since you do work as a teacher, as background to the listeners. So for your students, it's great to have someone that can support them like that, whether it be at home or at school. There's so many different things that they could need a support figure to help them with.
Yeah.
Especially since you spend so much time in school throughout your life.
Exactly. We're their other mothers and fathers, obviously, but we're their other parents at school. So we have to be routine and loving and caring.
I definitely think those qualities are definitely community oriented.
Yeah.
And I probably think that's where everything branches out and everything starts, from those communities.
Yeah.
Similar to that last note, could you tell us one thing about yourself that no one would ever expect?
Oh. You did not send me these questions when I did. I don't really like to cook. I don't, especially not baking. I cook, but I'm not very good at it. And then I enjoy painting.
Ah, okay. Yeah. To be fair, I wouldn't have thought that you dislike cooking or wasn't great at cooking.
Yeah, I try my best to cook every night, but I wouldn't say that I'm great at it.
Yeah, because like you said, you do seem quite bubbly. I feel like you'd be that person like, oh, I want to try this recipe and try it out.
No, I'm outgoing and I'll do other things, but cooking, not so much.
Yeah. Could I ask you, what trait do you value most in another person?
Kindness.
Kindness.
I think just being kind to yourself, being kind to others, being kind to people that you've never met before. I think kindness is a really good trait to have as a human being. I think it just brings good onto you and good onto others as well.
I think that's a great trait for lots of people to have, because I feel like, especially nowadays, as you said, it's not as social. A lot of people are a bit more in their shell and reluctant to speak to each other, but they don't realize how much a single smile could do. Just a smile at someone could make their day or help them out when they're feeling rough.
Definitely.
Definitely goes a long way as well, I'd say.
Okay, going back to Ubuntu Volunteers, could you tell us a bit more, give us an overview of what the organization does and tell us where the name originates from?
So in South Africa, we have, because this volunteering company goes to South Africa, we have 11 official languages in South Africa. I know, a lot. And one of those languages is Zulu. And the word Ubuntu comes from the Zulu language. And it means I am what I am because of who we are together. So it's really stems from that community as well. Because when you go on to these experiences, you're going to come back a completely different person. You're going to come back with more fulfillment. You're going to come back with enrichment. You would have made a difference in a community. And that community would have also made a difference onto you as well. So it really ties in everything that I want my company to empower people with and to label it as. There's also the working together and our principles that Ubuntu goes with, and that's humanity, respect, having just openness to all different cultures, and those are all the things that Ubuntu shows. And it's a really powerful word in South Africa as well. A lot of people will know exactly what Ubuntu means as soon as you arrive there. They'll know what it means.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a beautiful word, and I feel like a lot of the time with languages, it doesn't translate well, and it doesn't convey the same meaning when it's translated to English. Because just listen to your explanation, how you kind of felt conveying that, it definitely portrayed to us how deep it is into your culture and how much the word's depth actually has.
Yeah.
So I think it's great to see. And you were speaking about the volunteering. Could you dive a bit deeper into what that volunteering entails?
So we volunteer in a community in a town called Port Alfred, and we go into the underprivileged communities, and we work in all sorts of non-profit organizations and schooling communities and things like that. And we go into schools and teach inspire children to do more reading, just do basics of maths, run sports days, all sorts of things like that. And I worked in these communities when I was in South Africa, and you can have up to 55 children in a class. Wow. And you don't have a teaching assistant or anything like that. And majority of these children have got very little English. So you're going into there as a volunteer to help and just be a hands-on helper with the teacher. So you don't go in and teach, but you just go on in and help around the schools, help around the orphanages, really just be part of the community. You said in the thing before this that it takes a village to raise a child, and that really is there. You can make a difference in this child's village that he's got raising him. You can make a difference in the child's life, even just by coming just for your 12-day project. You'll remember those children forever, and they'll remember you forever. So it's going into those communities and working with them. We also go into orphanages and just help out in the orphanages. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be with the children the whole time. It could just be hands-on doing painting in the schools or helping doing some gardening in the orphanages and things like that. Just really hands-on work in a community. So that's what part of the volunteering, and it's a 12-day project that you go on, that you work with them.
Yeah, you sound really passionate speaking about it. Does it ever get hard when you're leaving the kids, because you build up a relationship over that time?
Yeah, you definitely do, but fortunately I get to go back, so
you get to go back.
But that is the hard part, but you know that your difference that you've made is going to make the difference ultimately.
And it touches the heart's child.
Yeah.
Could you tell us more about the 12-day project and what it entails?
So the 12-day project is from a Monday to a Friday, and you are picked up by your representative on the Monday, and you are driven to your accommodation, and then you settle into your accommodation on the first day, and then on the second day you have your introduction and your training. All the training's done on site. Like I said, you don't have to be an aspiring teacher or even a teacher or anything to do like that. It's just even if you just want to find out who you are and things like that, you can come into that, because it's all just very basic training that we do on the first day. Your place that you're staying at is really close to the beach. You're on the beach, so you get to also do like a lot of team building and stuff on the beach. And then from that then forward, majority of the days are in the mornings. You're doing community work, orphanages, schools. You go to a soup kitchen where you make the food and serve the food to 5,000 homeless people that come in, families and things like that are in the community, and you go and you feed them. So they're making another difference in the community, not only in the schools. And then in the afternoons, after you've made all that difference in that rewarding work in the mornings, majority of the afternoons is filled with amazing adventurous travel experiences. So you're not only making a difference in a community, you're then also going on an amazing adventure to a country that you potentially haven't ever been to. And you go on safaris, you go paddleboarding in the water, you go on a riverboat down the marina, it's called, and just really experiencing the community and experiencing those things. You also have some downtime, so you get to go out and do your own things in the community, as well as going, if you want to go on an extra safari and things like that, you have a day of downtime. And then you're just coming together every evening, and you doing things like playing Jenga, card games, meeting new people and things like that. In the small groups, we go into the schools and we inspire the children to read. Your stories are it's exciting for the people that come, because all the stories are based on the children's communities. So you'll learn the stories of that culture and that community that you're there, because you want to make it more of their world, not your world. They have no idea what a world that we live in is all about. So you make it about their world, and we create the stories, and you know it off by heart, and you just engage them and make them excited about reading. So that's what your day entails. Generally, lots to do, but amazing.
That is definitely something. That's a lot. First thing first, that is like a lot. And I think when you said adventurous, I think what you said before felt very adventurous as well. I think I like how it all just binds together as well.
Yeah.
Like this adventurous, beautiful, and unique experience where you don't just learn about children and how they feel. You learn about from everyone else, about their culture, about their identity, and molding it into one. I find it very beautiful.
Yeah, because like I said, there's 11 official languages. So there's loads of different cultures there. You're not going to walk in and see only one culture in this community. There are so many different cultures, and we dive into all of them. We have a night where we celebrate African culture and South African traditions, where we have this thing called a potjiekos competition, and it's making the stew type of food that's a South African tradition, and each group gets their recipe and they have to follow it, and they have to make it in these big pots that are real South African tradition, and then we all go around and tasting each other's and checking who's their best, and then we have a competition winner. So it's really just lots of fun activities, while also making the difference in the communities. Yeah,
that all sounds so great, because I'm someone who would love to like travel around as I grow up. So hearing about stuff like safari and even the chill downtime, playing Jenga and those cooking competitions flare up that competitive spirit, all sounds so great, and it seems like something I would want to do. So on that note, what age groups is this available to?
So if you are coming when you are between the ages of 16 and 18, you'll have to come with a guardian that goes with you. But trust me, your parents will love it just as much, or whoever your guardian that's with you will love it just as much as you do. And then once you're 18, you can come on your own, and there's no age limit to it. As long as you're fit and healthy and want to make a difference in a community and want to experience life, then you are willing to come.
And how easy is it to get involved? Are there any costs involved?
So there is the cost of your ticket to get there, and then obviously your insurance and stuff that comes with your ticket, as well as the 12-day project is £1,000. But that includes everything that you do in the itinerary. So it includes the safaris, it includes the paddleboarding, the riverboating, going into the schools, making the difference in the communities, as well as 2 meals in the day. And you have 24/7 assistants with you, representatives with you there. So they are there to help you and guide you and pull you all together and bring the teamwork and everything like that. So that all is included in that. The only day that you have to yourself is a Sunday, and that's that. If you would want to go to a safari or anything like that, you can. That would be an additional cost. But if you want to just hang out by the swimming pool and go to the beach, that's okay as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, that all sounds great. What's the accommodation like?
The accommodation is of a really high standard. We have chalets that you stay in, and there's 2 people that stay in a room, and the chalets are right on the beach, and the cottages have got a whole kitchen unit, dining room, lounge, and then the 3 bedrooms with the sleeping double beds, not double beds, the 2 people in each room. So then you have the facilities to cook your own meals and everything like that for the meal that you have that's not provided for it. So everything's there, even if you want to have like a cupboard with snacks in and stuff like that, all you can provide. That's all provided there in the accommodation. And what's amazing is that the accommodation comes with really great views. You can go to the beach, and also really good walking distance to everything. So you can go to the restaurants and stuff like that at night if you want to. As well as the shuttle can take you to wherever you need to go, as well as it goes to the shop every day for you to buy whatever you need.
Yeah, that's really cool because you get to really explore the culture as well.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds very scenic. If I ever go to South Africa, I now have something to look forward to.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that you want to explore all these places, but you want to do it with somebody that potentially knows what they're doing, and also in a safe environment and where you meet other people. You can't just like pitch up. Well, I mean, you can, but like you would prefer to go with a bunch of people, and maybe new people that you never met before, or your friend, and then you're going to meet people there and things like that. So it's just going together, and you make your own, you form your own community, the Ubuntu community that you make together while you're there.
Yeah, what's your favorite cultural cuisine there? I'm a bit curious now.
Oh, there's so many. South African food is fantastic. It's amazing. But I would say that it's my husband actually makes it the best, and it's Malva pudding. Yeah, it's like a sticky toffee pudding that South Africans make with like custard and stuff. That's my favorite. Yeah.
Note that down, listeners. Malva pudding. Got to try it out.
What did you say it was? I'm gonna search up the recipe after this.
Yeah.
Sounds like something which has a lot of texture and taste.
Yeah, and very sweet. Definitely not something for diabetics.
What would you say motivated and inspired you to do volunteering?
My family has always been in community work. My gran especially, like my whole life, she was always involved in community work and stuff. And my mum and her fam and everybody is still all very involved in community work. I'm actually doing this alongside my mum in South Africa. So community work has always been in my family and always been around us. So I wanted to bring together my teaching experience with the community work that we could do, as well as when I was in South Africa. Like I said, I taught for 8 years in the community schools. So I really saw it firsthand, like what the teachers and the children are going through at these schools. So I just wanted to bring my love for teaching, my love for community and everything, just bring it all together, as well as bring in my culture of South Africa.
I think that set a good foundation for my next sort of question. But would you say how did it come to be founded? How did you come to found? Was it a bit of a spur of the moment thing? Was it something you thought about for a long time?
Yeah, it's always been at the back of my head, and then we just decided that we give it a go. Like they were saying in the segment before me, you have to take action on your goals. So we've thought about it, and then we're like, you know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You have to just go for it. I know what I'm doing. I know that the communities are all there, and people should experience those communities and experience amazing travel while making that difference. So we were just like, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge takeaway for the listeners. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Because I feel like a lot of the time, the biggest fault in business or anything is if you don't take that first step, or if you don't try to make it happen, then it's not going to end up happening. So it's always just about doing it and going and putting yourself out there.
Yeah, definitely.
And doing it without any sort of fear, even though maybe you feel scared.
Yeah, it does. If it's not going to work out, that's okay as well. I'm sure there's millionaires that are out there today that their first idea that they came up with didn't work. So and then they kept on going until their great idea came along. So I think just doing and having the passion, I think, for it makes it a little bit easier. Is that I'm really passionate about it. I'm very passionate about my culture and the community work and things like that. So it does make it a much more enjoyable and amazing venture that I'm going on.
Feels less burdening.
Yeah.
Is It's not like, oh, I have to do this at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I get to do this now. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy that I could do it because I'm
Exactly.
changing people's lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a huge thing. People don't do the things they're passionate about, and that makes them kind of dread going to work. For like, oh, another day at work,
Yeah.
another doing this, like have to do that. And like Manveer said, it's not a have to do. It's like, oh, I get to do this.
Yeah.
Change that mindset, and it ultimately makes you value what you do so much more.
Yeah.
So on that note, I will ask, what is your favorite memory with doing this experience?
I think it's just working with my mum. I've really enjoyed and love working with her, as well as my memory of like just figuring out the cool ideas and just then applying for the company name and just those memories of like your building blocks to where you're going. So I think there's still many memories still to come, but it's just the building blocks to what your dream might be. So I think my memories are just all of the little but big steps on the way.
Yeah, I feel like the small steps that help you go are some of the most gratifying on the way, because it's when you have that huge goal, you have that in, like you said, it was in the back of your mind, but then taking the slow steps and actually seeing it come to fruition, even though it might be seemingly small to other people, it's a huge step to yourself.
It's a huge step to yourself and your company and things like that. So your goals then are being achieved slowly but surely.
Yeah, I feel like that would be great, and it's definitely something that would motivate you to even go further and do even more.
What do you find was the most challenging thing about this journey?
Getting the clients is challenging in the way that I just don't have enough time in the day to see everybody. I teach as well, so I just want to spread the word and let everybody know about it. But I'm also you only have as much time as you do in a day, so I think that would be a challenge. That
especially as a teacher, having to take back all that work, mark it, and plan for next lessons.
Especially because I am still very passionate about my job as a teacher, so it's just finding the balance between those two things, and then so I think that would be the most challenging thing.
Yeah, you can see that passion seep through since you do a lot of the education things in South Africa.
You can do only so much to engage people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be difficult at first.
Yeah.
But once your name gets out there, it feels much more easier.
Yeah, it's just about marketing yourself and getting it out there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How would you say volunteering has influenced your kind of personal growth and your view on social issues?
I think that volunteering can impact that you change within yourself. And like the kindness thing that I said in the beginning, if you're kind to others and kind to yourself, I think it's a round circle. So I think that like volunteering is empowering you, enriching your life, and therefore the social issues you'll start impacting them in a positive way around you. So, when you might see that others on social media are at the beach and you really wish that you were at the beach, but you don't actually have the funds to be at the beach in Greece or something like that, at least then you can then say to yourself, well, I've had this amazing experience, I've made a difference and things like that. So you've really impacted yourself, and I don't have to get this holiday now because I'm going to reach it when the goal comes along or something like that. So just having all of those goals towards you, it really changes you and your outlook to the rest of the world.
It's passing the light on to the next generation, the next people that come forward.
Paying it forward, yeah.
Yeah, on the note of passing the light forward, what kind of advice would you give to people who are interested in volunteering but still quite reluctant, or who, similarly to you, want to start their own initiative or their own cause like volunteering?
Just go for it. You have one life to live. Just go for it. There's nothing stopping you. Just go. Enjoy it. You are never going to regret adventures and doing something great. If you have the funds, then go for it. If you don't have the funds, start saving for it. Because whatever goal it is, whether it's coming volunteering or your own business or anything like that, just go and give it a try, because you're going to wake up 5 years later or a week later, whatever, and say, oh, I wish I had done that. And then you'll never know if it would have worked or if it wouldn't have worked. You rather live with saying, oh, it didn't work, than live with regrets.
Yeah, and what would you say is your kind of ultimate goal? So at what point do you think, once I've achieved this, I'm completely happy looking back?
I think you should always have goals going forward, no matter how big your things get or anything. There's always something not bigger that you just want to start being hungry for monetary things, but just little goals. So we rent out accommodation now. So eventually I want to have my own property that we call Ubuntu House, that we have all the volunteers at. That will become our own property instead of renting out from somebody. And then after that, it will be like even just putting names on the doors of each room and things like that. So it's just little goals. I don't think that there's ever a time when you shouldn't have aspirations. It makes life exciting.
Yeah, I think again that's a huge little piece of advice, because not having any goals, then it kind of gets boring again, like you said. Once you've achieved everything, then you're like, oh, what's left to do?